You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Right now on the phone with Reverend Dr. William J. Barber. Of course, he is with repairs of the Breach Poor People's Campaign. Reverend Barber, first and foremost, I got to get your thoughts. Just sit for us. We ran a lot of your speech from yesterday, where you addressed a letter to the country. I just came off the streets in D.C. trying to get into the building. People are still trying to show up for protest. Cops began to charge towards folks. Many of them began to take off. And we see what's happening in Louisville. Cops fired into a crowd there, killing a black man who owned a barbecue place, and he often served cops for free. People are just outraged, and I keep telling people I don't think we're going to be seeing an end to this anytime soon. Your thoughts?
I don't either, because what we're seeing, Roland, is a form of massive public mourning. It is about George Floyd, and it should be, because his death represents so much death that goes on in the community at the hands of police. But remember, our people are also dealing with 100,000 people dying, thousands of them that didn't have to die, according to studies, but because of this president's intentional acts of denial, it happened. People are being forced to go to work in lethal situations. They see a country that can call out the National Guard in 24 hours, but can't arrest cops who murdered a man in 24 hours, can't provide PPE and health insurance in 24 hours. People are at their ends with financially. They don't know how they're going to make ends meet. They've watched billionaires make $400 billion in the last 50 days, and yet they don't even have a living wage, don't even have health insurance or sick leave. And then you see this lynching, this girl, a 17-year-old holding a camera, and you see a man literally die. You see him beg, you see him call for his mother. This is a watershed moment. It is a moment filled, though, with all of the death-dealing realities of, yes, this kind of racism by police, but also the ongoing policy death is combined, is compounded. And then you have a president whose first response to people saying something's wrong and protesting, which we have a right to do, when the looting stops, the shooting stops, he picks that up from way back in the 60s and is basically saying, I'm going to use this moment to try to consolidate my power like George Wallace, Richard Nixon, and Bull Connor. In a sense, Brother Roland, we can't go home now. I mean, you know, people have to protest. We have to exercise our First Amendment right. And in a sense, we would be a shameful country. We'd be in a worse situation if people were willing to just ignore it, if nobody screamed, if nobody said anything. But we are in a very serious time. And then you have people that are trying to infiltrate legitimate, militant, nonviolent protests, and they're trying to infiltrate it and turn it to something else. We are in the midst of a very difficult moment, made difficult by a president and a Senate who have just refused to address the people and have pushed them down and hit people and passed policies that have caused death on top of death. And it's a watershed, and folk are saying they've had enough. There's a scream coming up. In the Bible, Roland, your wife knows this. There's a Bible verse that says, there's a sound coming from Ramah, Rachel refusing to be comforted because her sons are no more. That's what we're seeing in the public square.
Reverend Dr. Barber, the White House tried to assert today that Donald Trump has indeed spoken to the nation. Well, that he hasn't. Some of his advisors, according to some reporting by the New York Times, is that they are concerned that he's not trying to address this issue. One of the things they said is because if he does, he has no policies to actually put it out there. April Ryan also tweeted out that the White House had floated this idea of wanting to have a listening session with black leaders. Have you heard from the White House? Has anybody invited you to such a conversation?
No, they have not. I responded to April's question that no, they had not, and that what we were focused on. But if they were to respond, it could not be us going in just on his term. But there is a way to do it, and we sent out terms that they could do. I said my co-chair could go. We'd have other religious leaders, and for me, it would have to be diverse. I'm not going to let him isolate just black people. It would have to be impacted people there. There have to be the Senate leader, the Senate minority leader, the House Speaker, and it would have to be on camera. You'd have to be there. It'd have to be open, no pre-taping, and then going in closed session, because this man is constantly trying to find a way that he can play the last card. He can't play the economic card. He can't play the he's a wise card. He can't play the he did right in the pandemic card. The only card he has now is the law and order card. So he's trying to fan the flames and then make himself the savior. It's a card that has been played, as I said, by Richard Nixon, Bull Connor, George Wallace. He's trying to play it in the 21st century, and we're not having it. We're not falling for that anymore in this situation. And what is worse though, Roland, is that, you know, when Richard Nixon was out of control, Republicans went down and told him he had to leave. You don't have that today. Instead, you have had people that have allowed him, they have enabled him, and now he's out of control in the midst of a time when there's so much death that people have seen so much death now, there's nothing left to do but to scream and to protest and to stand firm. Just a minute ago, you know, he started speaking, and he's already made the White House look like a fortress. And isn't it interesting, Roland? He talks so bad, but then he hides out in a bunker. He says he wants the society to open back up because he wants people to spend money. But when the society opens back up because people want to exercise their constitutional right, he wants to close it down and even say that if somebody is a protester and they throw something, they get 10 years in prison. He so bad wants to be Putin or somebody, but this is not Russia. This is America, and people are going to stand up.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, we support black businesses here, and Mary Spio, Ceek.com. She is the sister. She actually created, that's right, so her patent created these virtual reality headsets. So what I told you before, you know, we had her in technology segment. So what happens with these headsets, folks, is real simple. You take your phone, and then you just simply place your phone inside of this. And so if you go to the Ceek website, you're able to look at the content, or if you even go to YouTube and you look at their 360-degree videos. And so when you put this headset on, you're able to actually see the video completely. It gives you this virtual reality experience. It puts you actually in the room of an interview or a video that was shot. And so it was really great. And so they have these virtual headsets on their website for sale, but also these great headphones right here. These are 4D 360-degree headphones. An unbelievable sound, pulsating sound. Gamers love these, people who are doing online games, and so she created this headset as well because she wasn't satisfied with what was out there. And so they have a special code for you, and then we get a cut of the proceeds, folks, if you purchase either the VR headset or the headphones. It's right there. It's RMVIP 2020, RMVIP 2020. And so we certainly appreciate partnering with them on this. Many of you, they are very much, they love the feedback that they've gotten from this. And in fact, Mary sent me an email saying she's heard from people from all over the world, from New Zealand and Ivory Coast, who watch Roland Martin Unfiltered and heard me talk about her and her company. And so again, folks, go to Ceek.com, go ahead and roll a video or the slideshow so you can actually take a look at that. You get a great headset here as well as, so that's the VR headset. So you see, you put your camera in and it gives you this virtual reality experience where it puts you literally in the room. And so it's always pretty cool to see those concerts and to see some of the very interesting video there. And so on Ceek.com. And so use the promo code RMVIP 2020.